woman, as an African family, I know we don't joke with pregnancy once somebody is married. The next thing everybody start asking is, you're not pregnant? You have not had my grandson yet, my granddaughter yet. So, once you're married in African society, the next thing on our mind is getting pregnant. And this has actually pushed a lot of people to do all sort of things only to get pregnant. If you are, wow, thank you so much, sis. This is wonderful. You're joining me today. I think this is your first time joining, sis. So if you're an African lady, if you are a lady and you're married and you're thinking, oh, when will I get pregnant? Please, even if you're married, you need to plan. You need to prepare for pregnancy. It's not because you're married, you think that you just plunge into pregnancy as though it's like food. No, you need to prepare for it. You need to plan for it. That is why if you get pregnant without planning, at times, maybe in your high school, in your secondary school days, you're pregnant because you had one partner, one guy, one boyfriend, and you're pregnant without planning. You see that it will be very, very, very difficult, and you call that pregnancy unplanned pregnancy. Thank you so much, Sister Nadesh. Thank you so much. I hope you're doing great. Sister Yvette, welcome. Thank you so much. So, planning a pregnancy, it's something that is so, so vital. You should plan. And even if you're married, you've had the first child, second, third, you have to plan. Maybe you might decide there are people who may have the first two children and say, okay, let me take a break, right? It depends on what you people have put together and think that this is the best for the family. So you need to plan. You need to plan. If you have a partner and you people are not married and you think that you can start having a family, okay, and you think that you can start having a family, then you plan before you start having a family. You don't just plunge into it and think that because you have a partner, then you should just start having a family just like drinking water. No, you have to plan. That is why you look at the caption. I said, before you get pregnant, think about this. So we are going to talk about some points. There will just be 3 points in which we are going to elaborate on them. And for those who are watching at the moment, please just do us a favor if you can share us the stream and also help to give us a thumbs up, please. You like the stream such that our video can be shown to other people. So please just make sure that you like the stream, please, so that others can see this video. It can be shown to other people, and if you can share it to your other social media platforms, even WhatsApp, please, and Facebook, it will really be good. Now, if you're married, if you have a partner, or even if you don't have a permanent partner, but in your head you're thinking of getting pregnant, you're thinking of start having a family, what are you planning? What are you putting together in order to start this? So we're going to talk about 3 major points. The very first point is mentality. Your mentality, how ready you are. How ready are you for pregnancy? Are you just thinking of getting pregnant because maybe your elder sister now have 2 kids and you think that you should have your own kids? Are you thinking of getting pregnant because Maybe your kid sister is pregnant and you think that no, you're an elder sister, you should get pregnant. Are you thinking of getting pregnant just because if you get pregnant, your partner will give you some money to take care of the child, to spend? So your mentality, how ready are you to get pregnant? How ready are you to start a family? That's the very first thing. How ready are you to start a family? Once you are ready to start a family because of the right reasons, then all the other steps will now follow. So the very first thing is your mentality. You put your mind and you know that you are starting a family, so this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do. So how ready are you to start a family? Are you mentally ready? If you are not mentally ready, please don't. During pregnancy, I just did a post on my Facebook page congratulating our ladies, and praise to all the ladies watching right now. To all the ladies watching right now, I want to say a big thank you to you people. Whether you've had a child before or you're still to. I understand what ladies go through. I may not understand it completely because nobody can understand it completely except the Almighty God. So, if you're watching, I want to say a big thank you for being a woman, because being a woman is not an easy thing. You go through a lot from the time you attain puberty and you start menstruating, start taking care of yourself, right up to when you're thinking of start having a family, and if you're pregnant, there is a lot that goes through. That is mentality. How ready are you? How ready are you as a lady to start a family? How ready are you? Pregnancy has a lot of difficulties with it. Not like difficulties, maybe like pushing a truck, carrying something heavy on your head. But the pregnancy process, from the time you get pregnant right through when you deliver your child, at times it might be so complicated. So how ready are you? Some pregnancy may make a woman so naughty. She hates nearly everything she sees around her. So how ready are you? How ready are you mentally? How ready are you? Some pregnancy may instead make you to be happy with most people around you. And people will be like, come on, this is strange. So how ready are you to welcome all of this? Some people, when they get pregnant, they have some of this naughty habit of maybe doing things in the extraordinary way. And it is because of the pregnancy. They don't have any problem at all. It's just because of that pregnancy. So how ready are you to welcome all of this? How ready are you? So you should be ready to welcome all of this. Then you can say that mentally you are ready. If you are not ready to welcome all of these ups and downs in pregnancy, I bet you when you eventually get pregnant, it might be somehow difficult for you. So how ready are you? So that is the first thing. Before you get pregnant, you need to think if mentally you are ready to start a family. If you are already into having families, meaning this is not your first child, this is not your second, maybe not even your third, maybe it's about your fourth. Every pregnancy is different. Every pregnancy is different. And you will see much of this when we will be explaining the other factors that have to do with health, but then you have to understand that every pregnancy is different. So do not say that because you have been pregnant before, you've had kids before, you just think that you just get pregnant maybe without planning for it. No, you should plan for your pregnancy. You should put your mentality that, oh, come on, I think we can have a baby now. You're telling daddy, hey, I think we can have a baby. Or daddy's telling you, I think we should have another child. Then you people think about it, yeah, we can have another child. So you should think about it. You should be ready mentally. So that is the very first point. If you are not ready mentally, please get yourself mentally ready for pregnancy before you start. Okay? If you're watching me right now and you've been thinking of starting a family, what I'll just tell you concerning the point of mentality is that getting ready is just like you going for a party. I used to say, women, there is one thing women need. If there are 10 things that you need to talk about giving it to a lady, I think the very first 9 will be time. Ladies need time. So you need time. What do you need that time for? You need that time to do preparation. And that is why we are saying that before you get pregnant, make sure you keep your mentality right if you're ready. If you're ready, you plan, you put it together, and you know that you are ready. Do not get into this if you are not ready, please. It is not water that you carry and drink. No. Even water, I think you're thirsty before you start drinking water, right? You need to be ready before you start it. The next point which we are going to talk about, which is our second point, is actually in the light of being ready, but now it has to do with finance. Finance. So the next point is finance. Remember, the first point is mentally ready. So the next point is financially ready. You might be a very rich person, you have the money, or you might be a poor person, meaning you're struggling to live. You can only pay your bills and you're thinking about what you should eat the next day. No matter the level of your pocket, preparing for pregnancy, you need a special preparation in terms of finance. Because most of the time we may think that we are really rich and a complicated pregnancy pops up and you see that even without your money, you are struggling to allocate some fund to take care of that pregnancy. So, how financially ready are you? If you even have an issue with money, meaning financially you are not that strong, please, you need to get yourself together and you prepare financially before you start. Remember, the pregnancy you are about to start, or the family you're about to start, the pregnancy you're about to look for, did not call for you to look for. So if you're trying to conceive, know that that child did not ask you that the child wants to come into your womb. You have decided, sat down, thought about this, and you said, no, I can start a family now. So financially, please, you need to, from start to finish, financially. Because medically, you have a lot of different aspects, different things that you will need to do. Like you will see on the point where we're talking about the medical reasons. So financially, if you are not strong enough to handle your pregnancy, it might be so difficult for you. The pregnancy that is a complicated one may become much more complicated. A simple pregnancy may become so complicated just because financially you were not ready. So how are you financially ready? Normally there are processes during pregnancy, that is the normal family stuff, then the medical part. What I mean by normal family stuff is, when you're pregnant, even feeding at home, you may start, I don't eat this thing, I will need this thing. They may even prepare for it and say, no, I don't want it. So it therefore means that the budget in the house will increase. Because now, you're choosing, they may even prepare for it and say, no, I don't want that type of food. You're choosing what to eat. So if you're choosing what to eat, it therefore means your financial status has to step up. So if you want to get pregnant and financially you are not ready and you're choosing what to eat, then it becomes difficult. Once you're choosing what to eat, you see that the type of food that you will be preparing at home will increase. So the type of food you will be preparing at home will increase. Maybe you are preparing 2 types, now you are now preparing 3 types because you yourself know, today I will not eat meat conchaf. No, I don't want meat, that vegetable. I want this one. Because of that pregnancy. And it is understanding, it is understandable. Please, do not think that it is understandable. Like I said in the first point, you need to put your mentality already that all of this could happen. It might not happen for you, or it might not happen with this pregnancy, but you need to prepare your mind that it might happen, and once it happens, you know how to tackle it. At times it becomes so tough to tackle it, even if you have prepared. That is why there is a need for preparation. So financially, Yes, sorry, something, I don't know, something went wrong somewhere with my stream. But thank God we're back, Thank you. Please, if you're watching right now, please just confirm to me my connection. I don't know. It seems my connection is down there. Please, if you're watching right now, please just hit. Can you get me very well? And is my connection okay? It seems not to be okay. I don't know. Please just confirm my connection to me, please. Please, if you are watching right now, please just confirm my connection to me. It seems my connection was working. Just confirm to me, please. Is my connection? Can you get me very well? Is my connection okay? Okay, so we're talking about what you should be thinking before you get pregnant, how you should prepare before you get pregnant, how you should prepare before you start having a family. So before you start having a family, there are some steps that you need to take. I will say the very first thing is your mentality. How ready are you mentally? Are you prepared mentally to start a family? Are you prepared mentally to go through the difficulties that a pregnant woman might go through? So if you are ready mentally, then we move to the next step, which is financially. How ready are you financially? And we said there are a lot of financial burdens that will be incurred during pregnancy. I don't know if please can someone confirm my connection to me? It seems the connection is not there. So I don't know. Can someone confirm to me, please? So the very first point is, how ready are you mentally? If you're ready mentally, the next thing is financially. How ready are you financially to get pregnant? So if you're ready financially, then you need to understand that during pregnancy, you will spend more. That is for sure. You will spend more. You're going to spend more for feeding. You're going to spend more for little of illness. Maybe some fever will come, some pains, and you have to buy treatment. And then the big part is the medical part of the pregnancy to carry through. So you're going to spend money when taking care of the pregnancy. Care of the pregnancy, and that means that financially you need to be ready. So you need to be financially ready to actually start a family. The next thing is the medical part. Are you medically ready? Health-wise, are you okay to start a family? This is the backbone. This is the backbone. Don't just think that because maybe you were pregnant 10 years ago, then everything is just okay. No. No. You actually need to make sure that you visit your doctor and every other thing that has to do with preparation of you conceiving is on track. So medically is something, this is a backbone. This is a backbone. You can be financially fit, you are mentally fit, but medically you might have some issues. So you visit your doctor. The very first thing is visiting your doctor. You talk with your doctor, and every other thing that has to do with you conceiving, your doctor will run, do your checks to make sure that every other thing is okay on you. Once it is okay for you to conceive, know that you conceive. Know that if you conceive, you will have a lot of processes that will take place. Remember, you can be okay physically and everything, thinking that everything is all right. But when you visit your doctor, the doctor might be telling you, oh, come on, because of this, you should schedule your pregnancy maybe in 6 months' time, maybe in a year's time, not now. Or you might visit your doctor tells you you should get pregnant as soon as possible. You know, there are people with difficult situations, like people with fibroid, and when you have fibroid, your doctor will tell you try to conceive as early as possible. Reason being that if you conceive, by the time you're put into bed, your doctor or in the hospital, that fibroid will be taken rid of when you're put into bed. Probably you will be put into bed through a CS, through a cesarean section. And thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. May God bless you. Yeah, I've been asking about the connection. It seems as if my connection is not the best. I've been asking if the connection is okay for people to respond to me. So thank you so much for joining. So we've been talking about what you should do, what you should prepare if you want to get pregnant. There are actually 3 steps we've been talking about, what you should think about before you start a family. And we said the very first one is mentality. The second one is financial. And we are on the third, that is health. So mentality, that is, how ready are you? Are you ready? Mentally, are you okay to start a family? Do you think you're ready? Financially, do you have the financial bargain to start a family? Because once you actually get pregnant, once you eventually get pregnant, there are a lot of financial burdens that will come up, more than what you used to have. And the next thing is health. So if you're ready mentally to start a family, then it ever means you're saying that you're ready to accept those difficulties that may come with pregnancy. We said to some people they are naughty, to some ladies. Some ladies are naughty, it is not their fault. Please, if you're a lady watching, like I said before, if you're a lady watching, know that it's not your fault. Even though we might say you should improve on some of this habit once you're pregnant. You know, at times, generally, women are naughty generally. Some women are naughty generally, meaning, yeah, you might see a lady. Thank you so much, sis. Wow, you're joining me today. This is wonderful. Generally, you know, women at times they have this their bad sides. Okay. I don't know if someone else is having an issue with connection as well. So I was saying, generally you have women with women who actually might have issues with the way they respond. This will become worse if you're pregnant. So if you're pregnant, if you're that type of lady that you maybe react to things easily, that's you are easily agitated. Yeah, you're easily agitated as a lady. When you're pregnant, be ready to have more of this. So that's why we said the very first thing is mentality. How mentally ready are you? Are you mentally ready to start to start having a family? Are you mentally ready to be pregnant? So if you're mentally ready, then know that you're also saying you're ready to have all of these difficult times. Thank you so much, sis. Thank you so much. You're saying that you also have you're ready to take care of all of these difficult times as a lady. So that's the first thing, mentality. How are you ready? How are you ready? Mentally. The next thing is financial. We said you need to be financially ready. Finance here, at times, it is not only what you have at the moment. You might be rich, like I said, but there is a pregnancy that can even render you a poor person. So you need to be ready. You need to be ready and make sure that you do the right things. As a lady, there are things that you would love to eat when you're pregnant. And it could be different from what you used to maybe normally eat. There are things that you will actually want to do, and it might be different from what you normally do. So, as a lady, you need to accept all of this. And just imagine you used to put on your maybe a tight fitting dresses, but now you're pregnant. Because of pregnancy you cannot put on tight fitting dress. All right, you are 7 months, you are 8 months, and the pregnancy is bulging, and you want to still put on your tight fitting, you cannot go. All right, so you need something bigger. So there is acceptance. That's why we say you need to accept the process of you getting pregnant. So financially, it is a financial burden. Your dresses will not fit on you. You have to be ready mentally to accept that, and you have to buy other dresses to put on during that time. Right? You need to put on other dresses. You need to buy other dresses that you can put on during this time. The next thing we say is actually health. How are you ready health-wise to start a family? How are you ready? There are ladies with some pertinent health issues they have never known about. You may have some health issues you've never known about until thank you so much, sis. Thank you so much. There are ladies who have some health issues that they've never known until you get to your doctor, you get to the hospital for a check. You now realize that you have a difficulty. Thank you so much, sis. Thank you. Until you get to the hospital, you now see that you had an issue. It is something maybe you've never known, and you only get to know of it when you want to start a pregnancy and you decide to do a checkup for yourself. So how ready are you health-wise? How ready are you health-wise? So if you're ready, then please make sure that you actually know medically if you're okay. So you need to visit your doctor, you get tested, you get checked before you actually start a pregnancy, before you actually start a family, before you actually start thinking of getting pregnant. I'm sure to a lot of ladies who have been trying to get pregnant, you must have heard of polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS, in short, PCOS. So to a lot of ladies who've been trying to get pregnant and they realize maybe at a hospital that they have been suffering from PCOS. Maybe because you didn't even know your cycle, so you did not even know if your cycle was irregular. So after getting to the hospital, talking with your doctor, talking with your fertility specialist, they now discover that you have an irregular cycle, and that irregular cycle is related to polycystic ovary syndrome after running you all the checks. You will see that if you want to get pregnant at that time, you won't be able. Why? Because you need to be treated. So you need to be treated. Another thing is chlamydia. I know chlamydia is a household name. A lot of people are used to the word chlamydia. You might be infected with chlamydia without knowing. Do not say that no, you don't have signs and symptoms, so you think that everything is okay. No. Chlamydia is a silent killer. I used to call it a fertility devil. So it will be there, and you will not even have the major signs of it. If you eventually get pregnant while being positive for chlamydia, it could be dangerous for that pregnancy. It could be dangerous. So that is why we say, are you ready health-wise? Medically, are you ready? Are you medically ready to start a family? Are you medically ready to start a family? Because if you're positive for chlamydia without knowing, it is possible that a pregnancy could lead to what? An ectopic pregnancy. And for those who know what ectopic pregnancy is, it is a very difficult scenario. It's a very difficult pregnancy. Obviously, that pregnancy will need to be terminated by a doctor. But you will have some difficulties. You feel a lot of pains. And this is as a result of chlamydia. And actually, we have chlamydia and gonorrhea. These two bacterial infections will more likely to cause you an ectopic pregnancy than any other infection. So, after checking with your doctor health-wise, if your doctor discovers that you're positive for chlamydia, then you will be treated. If your doctor discovers that you're positive for gonorrhea, then you will be treated first before you actually start having a family. So how ready are you? You are ready mentally to start a family? You are ready financially to start a family? You also need to be ready health-wise to start a family. You also need to be ready medically to start a family. There are people with high blood pressure without knowing. You know, high blood pressure, diabetes, they are being termed non-communicable diseases because they also will not show you some major signs. For diabetes, before you start feeling that you have diabetes, at times it might have been in you for some time. Same with high blood pressure. So if your high blood pressure is that high, your doctor will talk with you and know as you dive into it. Because obviously, dieting will change if your BP is that high. Obviously, if you get pregnant, you don't just take any drug. Even if you're not pregnant yet, once your BP is abnormal consistently, then it will be important that you think about what you drink as drugs. You might have a high blood pressure. You might have a high blood pressure, but because you didn't know about it, you go buying any drug and it wasn't the situation. So that is why we say, how medically ready are you? How medically ready are you? So are you medically ready to start a family? Are you medically ready to begin a family? If you're medically ready, then you visit your doctor to confirm that, because you don't confirm it with your mouth. You don't just sit and think that you're medically ready. No. For you to be medically ready, you need to visit your doctor, and all of these are taken care of. Now, if you're a lady watching this at the moment, and you've once been pregnant, meaning you probably have maybe a kid, 2 children, 3 children, or 4, you're going to bear with me that in the course of your pregnancy, there were a lot of tests that were done from the start of your pregnancy. Once you're pregnant, you went for your first antenatal clinic. There were a series of tests that were done on you. And those series of tests actually cost a lot of money, especially to us in Africa, where we are battling with poverty. Poverty in Africa is a big disease because it's not easy at all. So, running this first series of tests is something that might be so difficult to some families. So, they might not even have that money to even run some of these tests. So, if you have been pregnant before as a lady, you will agree that it is not easy for you to run all of these tests. You will accept with me that it is not easy, that it is difficult, it is expensive. Even after running the very first test, the very first series of tests, after that, you still have to go for checkup from time to time, right up to when if you did not maybe prepare before pregnancy. Hey, big sister in the building, welcome sis, thank you so much. So if you actually did not prepare, yeah, thank you so much sis. If you did not actually prepare to start a pregnancy health-wise, medically, then you will see that in the course of your pregnancy, you might have some bigger challenges. you might have some bigger challenges. Because let us take for example that you want to start a family and mentally you're ready to start a family, financially you're okay to start a family, health-wise you didn't do anything. And because of that, you were infected with hepatitis B. And this goes especially to people in very difficult situations. If you're in the suburb, I know how difficult it is for you to maybe seek medical help, even financially. If you're infected with hepatitis B, for example, thank you so much, sis. Thank you so much. May God bless you. Thank you so much. No problem, sis. No problem. I really do appreciate. So, if you're infected with hepatitis B, normally during the course of your pregnancy, when you will eventually put to bed, that baby will be given a vaccine to actually prevent the baby from being infected. So if you are in the suburb and you didn't do all of this, maybe to even check all of these tests before you get pregnant, and you are now pregnant while being positive, you see that it is maybe only at delivery, because to some people they don't even go for clinics, and if you don't go for clinics, it will be difficult. It will be difficult. So to some people, you don't go for clinics, and you see that at the end, in which the vaccine has to be given to the child. Maybe they might not even know that you are hepatitis B positive. And you might, in the course of delivery, actually transmit the infection to your child. And that is not good at all. So that is why we said you need to prepare medically, health-wise, before you start thinking of having a family. So preparing health-wise is running all of these tests, your doctor checking on you to make sure that no, you are okay before you start a family. What if you're positive with HIV, for example? You could be positive for HIV without knowing, because also you didn't do all of these tests, and you are now pregnant and positive for HIV. You're positive for HIV while being pregnant, and you don't even know. And maybe you've not gone for any clinic. You only go to the hospital when you are due, when your pregnancy is due, when you want to put to bed. This is dangerous to that child. During delivery, there is that probability that you might get the child infected. Because in some communities, because people don't have the means, they don't go to clinics, and they eventually put to bed at home. So I know we are saying this, a lot of us watching at the moment, we have the financial, maybe package to what is needed before we get pregnant, and all of what is needed during pregnancy, but not everybody. Not everybody. So for people who are in this difficult situation that they don't, the only plea is that you should try and even do an HIV test, probably in hepatitis test, try your best to do those two. Because it will not be fair to that child that it was because of you that that child became. So that's why we say you need to prepare medically. You need to prepare health-wise. You need to prepare medically. You need to prepare health-wise. So by running this test, you're going to at least protect the unborn child. Because if you run this test and it shows that you're positive for HIV, for example, and positive for hepatitis B, for example, then at delivery, it would be advisable that you seek for the nearest health center where you can deliver this child and avoid the infection being transmitted to the child. So health and medicals is the pillar if you want to start a family. Health and medicals is the pillar. So you need to be ready health-wise and you need to be ready medically. Don't assume that everything is okay without you getting to your doctor, getting to the hospital, and actually taking a checkup for yourself and making sure that everything is all right. Now, come to think of it, we've made a video here talking about the electrophoresis test or the HB genotype of your hemoglobin, the genotype of your hemoglobin. This is actually what will make you to know if there is the probability that you and your partner can actually have a sickle cell child or not. So this is actually a test that will help you understand if you will actually have a sickle cell child or not. Wow, thank you so much, sis. Thank you so much. Yeah, although you're not too late, even though you're late, but you're not too late. The HB electrophoresis test will guide you as a lady. It will guide you as a man to know that your partner and you can have a child who is a sickler or not. So, health and medicals here will guide you know this. So, if you did not prepare health-wise, if you did not prepare medically, how would you know that there is that probability that you can actually have a child that is a sickler? So you need that is why we say the medical part is the backbone. You need to prepare mentally. We've actually discussed 3 major points and we are on the 3rd part. So for those who are joining us, thank you so much. We have been discussing reasons what you should do before you start a family. What you should do before you start a family. And we said the very first thing is your mentality. You need to be ready mentally. Because mentally, if you are not ready, there are a lot of things that happen during delivery, during pregnancy. You need to be ready. If you are not ready mentally, it could be very difficult for you. The next thing that we'll say is you also need to be financially okay. So you need to be financially strong to withstand all of this. This goes to both male and female. So if you want to start a family as a man, You need to get ready financially. If you want to start a family as a woman, while mentally you're ready, financially you need to understand that you and your partner, you're ready financially. Because like we said, there are a lot of things. And the last point is health, which we are explaining that. There are a lot of things that you need to prepare before you start a family. There are a lot of things. Now, coming back to health, coming back to you actually running the test to make sure that you know if you and your partner can eventually have a sickle cell child or not. Now, we know that in the Western world, this is not really a matter when it concerns sickle cell. Reason being that there are organizations in probably the insurance pays everything should in case you have a sickle cell child. But please, where I am in Africa, things are not the same. Things are not the same. Financially, if you have a sickle cell child, you carry the burden on your head. And you have to take care of the financial difficulties. And having a sickle cell child, there are a lot of difficulties that a child will go through. So why not avoid it if we can avoid it? If you can avoid it, why not avoid it? That is why we say you need to be ready medically. You need to be ready health-wise. So because if you can avoid having a sickle cell child, why can't you avoid it? So how can you avoid it? By running these tests, running all of these tests before you start thinking of having a family. And if you run your HB genotype and your genotype as a lady is AA, then you know that you can get married to any other person. If you run this genotype as a man, and as a man your genotype is AA, then you know that you can get married to any lady. But if you run this genotype as a man or a woman, you run this genotype test, it is AS. AS means you carry the sickle cell trait S, meaning that you are a trait or you are a carrier of the sickle cell gene. But you don't express the physical signs and symptoms of someone who is a sickler, meaning you are not a sickler. You're just a carrier of the gene. So as a carrier, please, we don't advise you to get married to someone who is a carrier. Like I said, in Africa where I am, we don't joke with this because we know that health-wise, it will not be easy. So if you're a carrier, the advice is that you get married to someone who is AA, meaning someone who is normal. So as a carrier, you get married to someone who is normal. How can you know this? You can only know this if you prepare health-wise. That is why we said, before you start thinking of having a family, you need to prepare mentally, you prepare financially, and you prepare health-wise. So if your genotype is AS as a man, if your genotype is AS as a woman, please, if you want to avoid the probability that you might have a sickle cell child, you better get married to someone who is AA. AA means this person doesn't have a sickle cell trait. This person has a normal hemoglobin. Please, let me make this clear. The test to know if you can potentially have a sickle cell child or not is different from your blood grouping. There are a lot of people who get confused between blood grouping and the sickle cell testing, which is the HB genotype, to know your genotype. If you have done your blood grouping test, your blood type is A, or your blood type is B, or your blood type is AB, or your blood type is O, please. This is different with someone who has done the HB electrophoresis test to know the HB genotype, and the genotype is either AA or AS. It is different. So don't get confused. If you are a lady, if you are a man thinking of starting a family, please make sure while you do your HIV testing, while you do your hepatitis B testing, it is important as well to know your HB genotype, or you do the HB electrophoresis. This test will help guide you to know if you are a partner, if you and your partner can potentially have a sickle cell child or not. Like I said, in the developed world, this might not be an issue because there are institutions, insurance will pay if at all there is a sickle cell child. But to us in Africa, this is an issue because financially we will not be able, if a child is a sickler, to take care of this child is something that could be difficult for a lot of people. So make sure you can actually run all of these tests, and you know. Now you need to understand that if your genotype, if you run your electrophoresis test and your genotype is AA, you can actually get married to any of the genotypes. Meaning you can get married to someone whose genotype is AA, you can get married to someone whose genotype is AS, you can get married to someone whose genotype is SS. Yes. If you are SS, you can get married to AA. People cannot have a sickler, but you can only have carriers. If you are AS, we also encourage you to get married to someone who is AA. Now, we are saying that all of this is to avoid you having a sickle cell child. So, you see that starting a family is not just you thinking of having sex and starting a family. It is also you preparing mentally, meaning that mentally you're ready, preparing financially, meaning that financially you're ready, and preparing heart-wise, meaning that heart-wise you are ready. There are some people having issues of conceiving, and one of the reasons actually why they are having issues when they are already married is because they didn't do the premarital testing. Now, what do I mean? You are a man, you have never done the quantity of your sperm. Now you're married, you're having difficulties having a child from your wife. Possibly you push everything to her, as I know most at times we do as men. Oh, you're the one, or you're the one. Whereas maybe your sperm count is down below the threshold. Now, why did I say you are the cause of you not having a child? I'm not saying that you are the cause of your sperm count being low. No. If you had done this test before you get married and you know that your count is low, then, or before you start having a family and you know your count is low, before you start thinking of having a family, you've done the test and you know your count is low, what can you do? You will probably start your treatment. You start taking your treatment, you build your sperm count. And taking your treatment to build your sperm count will mean there are other things, lifestyle changes. If you're a smoker, you're advised to stop. If you can't, then you reduce it. If you drink a lot of alcohol, you're advised to stop. Or if you can, you reduce it. But if you did not actually do this test, nothing will guide you. Nothing will guide you. And you see that you will be in a family, you will be married, trying to impregnate your wife, and it's not going because your count is down. And most at times, you are even advised to run a sperm count by your doctor. Most men don't do it. That's the dodge away from doing it. Because as men, and I am speaking because I'm a man, we don't like to take the blame. We don't like to take the blame. We don't like to take the blame. If we can take that blame and we solve this issue early enough, I bet you will. Once you start thinking of starting a family, it will be easier for you. It will be easier for you. If your sperm count was that low and you start taking your treatment, you change your lifestyle, you improve on your feeding habit, improve generally on what you do, you will see that by the time you eventually want to start a family, it will be clean and clear. You start having your children just within the first 2-3 months. Please, this advice is for your husband, if you're a lady watching. And it's for you, if you're a man watching. When you go for premarital testing, you can suggest a sperm analysis as a man. Even if your doctor did not suggest it, you can suggest it. You suggest a sperm analysis. This will help prepare you for this pregnancy that you want your wife to have. Because, like we said, if you don't do this test, and let's say your sperm count is really down below, let's say your sperm count is right down there, and you don't do this test, what's going to happen? You will eventually get into trying to impregnate your wife. You start spending money Because first of all, it's obvious that they will start but on the lady. Forgetting about you. You will spend hundreds of thousands of CFA for. After spending this money, they will not say, oh, let us check your sperm count. By the time they come to your sperm count and you are there, one, you see the word. You have spent a lot of money. That was money that was supposed to use on you and build your sperm count and everything being okay in a very short time. So how ready are you medically to start a family? So these are the three most important steps for you to start a family. The very first step being mental, the second step being financial, and the third step being health reasons. Health reasons, we said, is the pillar, is the backbone. Because if health-wise you are not ready, no matter what amount of money you have, no matter how mentally ready you are, it will be very difficult for you to have these children smoothly. Do not get pregnant and your doctor starts saying, oh, madam, you need an operation, whereas it was something that you were supposed to avoid. Do not get pregnant without knowing your hepatitis B status. Do not get pregnant without knowing your HIV status. Do not get pregnant without knowing your HB genotype. That is, if your HB genotype is AA or AS. I know many people say, oh, come on, I'm in a relationship already, and how can I stop this? So I should stop my relationship because my HB genotype is this. My advice is that, please, before you get into a relationship, before you start any relationship, make sure you have done the HB electrophoresis test. That would be the best thing. Once you've done the HB electrophoresis test before you get into any relationship, then it will reassure you and even guide you into the relationship you're getting into. So what do I mean? You have done your HB electrophoresis test and it shows that you are AA. It therefore means no matter the status of your partner, you can get into that relationship without any problem. If you have done your HB electrophoresis test to know your HB genotype and you are AS, AS means you are a carrier of the sickle cell trait. So what do? You better make sure that your partner is not AS as well. Make sure that your partner is AA. If your partner is AA, then you can move on. But if your partner is AS just as you, if you can stop that relationship, then it will be best for you. If at all you have an iota of maybe thinking that you might have a sickle cell child, because if you don't care about it and you know that financially you can take care of the child, then that's a different ballgame. But like I said, for us in Africa, where we are battling with poverty, And even the health sector might not be able to handle this situation to the best. So what if that child needs a bone marrow transplant? What if that child needs a bone marrow transplant and financially you are not able to handle it? If that child needs a bone marrow transplant and financially you are not able to handle it, and it is something that you were supposed to avoid, it therefore means you are the cause of it. You are the cause of making this child passing through this. If you can avoid it, why not avoid it? Why not prepare? Why not prepare medically before you start thinking of having a family? So, before you get into a relationship, please make sure you know your HB genotype. Make sure you know your HB genotype. Make sure you know your hemoglobin genotype. Hemoglobin genotype is the HB genotype we're talking about, and the test is the HB electrophoresis test. So if you can actually be ready mentally, be ready financially, and you're ready health-wise, then you can start a family today. You can start a family tomorrow. You can start a family the next tomorrow. You know, there are a lot of families within our African milieu going through a lot of issues because they got married, they didn't know about the electrophoresis test, they didn't know about the sickle cell stuff, and now they've had maybe 2 or 3 children who are sicklers, and maybe one has even died, and financially they are struggling. This is what we can avoid, please. This is what we can avoid. We can avoid this. You can avoid this. Please, let us do our best to avoid this. Do not say that you are madly in love with somebody, so even if it is AS, you will go ahead to get married. Please, we all can avoid this. Your blood group, as a lady, your blood group, it could have an issue when it comes to you getting pregnant and carrying a successful pregnancy to birth. Generally, we say blood group has nothing to do with you getting married. That is true. That is true. Blood group has nothing. Blood grouping has nothing. There is an issue if your blood group is Rhesus negative, but we say it has nothing to do medically, because the reason why we say that is because blood grouping can actually be managed medically. You know, for sickle cell, there is no way you can stop this child from being a sickler. Meaning, if you're AS and your partner is AS, there is little or nothing. There is actually nothing you can do medically to stop, if at all, maybe your first or the second or the third or the fourth or the fifth child or the sixth child could be a sickler. There's nothing. You can stop that medically. You can only manage this condition once this child has been put to bed, once this child has been delivered. But for blood grouping, if your blood type is Rhesus negative, this is something I want to explain. If you are taking note of this, and I know we made a video and people probably have not watched, but let me explain this. And this falls under the medical aspect of you preparing to have a family. If your blood type is Rhesus negative as a young lady, you can avoid having an issue tomorrow, because this can be managed. You need to understand that blood grouping, there are two types of blood grouping. There are two systems in which blood grouping is being done. The first system of blood grouping is the ABO system, and the other system is the Rhesus system. So are you medically ready to do all of this, to know your ABO system and to know your Rhesus system? The ABO system of blood grouping is when your blood type is A, when your blood type is B, and when your blood type is AB and blood group O. So under the ABO system. The next system is the Rhesus system. So before you start thinking of having a family, you need to know your ABO system. This falls under blood grouping, and you need to do your Rhesus system. The next system is the Rhesus. The Rhesus is someone who is Rhesus negative or positive. I'm sure for all who have done their blood grouping, please, you should know your blood grouping and your HB genotype. You should go for this test, please. For all those who have done their blood grouping, you will see that either your blood grouping is written as blood group A positive or A negative, B positive or B negative, AB positive or AB negative, O positive or O negative. If your blood group is A positive, what does it mean? These are the two systems that have been added. The A means your ABO system is A. The positive means your Rhesus system is positive. Because for ABO system, you can be blood group A, you can be B, you can be AB, you can be O. While for the Rhesus system, you can only be Rhesus positive or you can be Rhesus negative. So every individual carries the ABO system and the Rhesus system. So either you are blood group ABO, then Rhesus positive or negative. So if you are blood group A positive, it means your ABO system is blood group A and your Rhesus system is Rhesus positive. If you are blood group A Rhesus negative, it means your ABO system is A and your Rhesus system is negative. So those are the two systems that have been merged together and for you to have your blood grouping. If you don't do this blood grouping before you get pregnant, you will not be able to know your grouping. You will not be able to know where you fall in terms of the Rhesus system. So if you are blood group B positive, it means the ABO system is blood group B and the Rhesus system is Rhesus positive. If you are blood group B negative, it means the ABO system is blood group B while the Rhesus system is negative. If you have blood group AB positive, it means the ABO system is blood group AB while the Rhesus system is Rhesus positive. If you have blood group B Rhesus negative, it means the ABO system is AB while the Rhesus system is negative. And same for O. So if you are blood group O Rhesus positive, it means you are blood group O. You are O of the and Rhesus positive of the Rhesus. Why if you are O negative, you are O of the ABO and Rhesus negative of the Rhesus negative of the Rhesus blood grouping. So those are the blood groupings, and that is why you might see blood group A positive or A negative, B positive or B negative, AB positive or AB negative. So are you medically prepared to start a child? You need to know all of this. And I say that if you're a young lady, you don't have a child yet, young lady, you're not pregnant yet, you've never been pregnant. If your blood grouping is of the negative, meaning that Rhesus is negative, I've already explained, like I was explaining. If your Rhesus is negative, it means the Rhesus system is negative for you. Your very first pregnancy, your first ever pregnancy, please, no matter what happened to that pregnancy, whether that pregnancy was aborted or the pregnancy you had a miscarriage or you put to bed. This goes to young ladies, this goes to ladies that have never been pregnant. So if you have never been pregnant, like you have never been pregnant, your first ever pregnancy, if you are Rhesus negative, there is an injection that you need to take immediately after the pregnancy. Please, no matter what happened to that pregnancy. There are some ladies having issues with fertility just because of this. Why are they having issues with fertility? They are having issues with fertility because when you are Rhesus negative as a lady, if you are Rhesus negative as a lady, what happens is that if you are Rhesus negative as a lady, what happens is that your very first pregnancy, there is that probability that that pregnancy will cause your system to stimulate antibodies against that pregnancy, against that particular first pregnancy. But because it is the first pregnancy, these antibodies will not destroy the child. Because you know the system, the human system is complicated and it will have to build up. So because of this build up, these antibodies will build up in the first pregnancy and nothing will happen. But the subsequent pregnancies, you might have these miscarriages. So that is why we said there is an injection. That injection is to prevent these antibodies from being formed in your system. Explaining the reasons why these antibodies are formed. Maybe it's something that we'll do on another class, because I really need to explain it in details. We'll probably do that on another live feed. Please, for those just joining, for those who are watching us for the very first time, if you're joining us, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And please don't forget to give us a thumbs up on this video. Please hit that thumbs up, please, and help many other people see this video, and also help us share the video, please. If you're watching this. So these are the steps that you need to prepare for you to get pregnant. We have said that the very first one is the mentality, meaning that mentally you need to be ready. First thing is mental. You need to be ready mentally. Second thing is financially, you need to be financially ready. So you need to be financially ready. And the third thing is health, just like what we have been explaining. So you need to be ready medically, health-wise. Once you are ready, then you're good to go. So we will be rounding up with this topic. And if you have a question, put it down below. I will give probably 5 to 10 minutes for that. If you have a question, please put it down below in the comment section, please. If you have a question, please put it in the comment section. Just give me 1 minute. So thank you for being steadfast to this live stream. So like I said, if you are watching us for the very first time, please you do us a favor, please. You subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much. And if you are a YouTuber, we will probably subscribe back to you. While please, for all of people watching, please help share us this stream so that people can follow, because this is so important for our ladies and in short everyone to get this explanation. So we are rounding up. If no question, we are rounding up, please. We are rounding up on this topic to say that we have been discussing how you need to prepare before you start having a family. You need to prepare before you start having a family. And we've said that there are 3 major points. The very first thing is the mental. You need to mentally be ready. So mentally, you have to be mentally fit before you start a family. So that's the very first point that we made. The second point is about financial. You need to be financially ready. You need to be financially ready. So for you to start a family, you need to be financially ready, because there are a lot of things that has to do with you having a family. The next thing is that you need to be medically fit. So before you start a family, you need to be medically fit. Don't just start because you think that you're fine. It is only when you've gone to the hospital and you've done your test, then you can confirm that you are medically fit. So you need to be mentally ready to start a family. You need to be financially ready to start a family, and you need to be medically ready. So those are the 3 major points in which for you to start a family you need to take note of. If any of these points are fine, it will be difficult for you. So I really want to appreciate all those who be following and want to say it, and may God bless you. Please help us share the stream and for many others to see. For those who will be coming back to watch the video after plays, you keep us a comment showing you have a question. So if any question plays, you keep us a comment. If you want something personal, if you want to talk on the Instagram, you click on Instagram there, you'll get to us. You can talk to us one-on-one. Okay? You can talk to us one-on-one if you have a hard issue for us to solve. We are always ready. You can talk to us one-on-one. Even there is also a Twitter link there on our account. You can click on it. Also, there's our Facebook page as well, and even our blog website for you to get to us. So thank you so much for following. Thank you so much for following. May God bless you. Please keep safe. Make sure you're safe. And since we don't have any other question, we will be calling off the day. And to say that we wish you a wonderful day. Please keep safe and make sure you also keep other people safe, because you know this COVID-19 stuff is so dangerous that you just see people getting sick and the next day you hear that they've passed away. So please, you keep safe out there. Thank you so much. May God bless you. We have another rendezvous. We'll let you know. Have a wonderful time.